We have benefits that for the mother as well as for the infant. Earlier we had a discussion about it, and I started with the benefits of the infant first. So today I'm going to start with the mother. So there are multiple benefits to the mothers of those who breastfeeding. Looking at the start from when they actually deliver, breastfeeding helps them to expel the products of conception. It also assists them with stopping any bleeding during delivery, what we would say hemorrhage. It helps the mother's uterus to go back to normal. It can serve as also a birth control once you are breastfeeding exclusively for the mother, and it can reduce the risk of cancers such as breast cancer and uterine cancer. For the babies now, well, it's the best food. Breast is best, and our peers, anytime our peers hear breast feeding, that's his first thing. Breast is best. So it's the best food for babies. It have all the nutrients that are required in the right amount, in the right sources. It also helps. Research have also shown that breastfeeding babies are actually a lot more intelligent than babies that are that are not breastfed. And then we have multiple areas as it relates to the current health situation in St. Kitts and Nevis and other countries where we have a large amount of persons who are suffering with NCDs, conditions such as diabetes, high blood pressure, and some cancers. Babies who are breastfed exclusively reduces their risk of getting any one of these conditions. Additionally, obesity, which is now a condition, which was one of the risk factors for these conditions, having too much weight, breastfeeding also reduces that. It also prevents babies from getting sick too often. So conditions such as ear infection, different in gastroenteritis, those are the conditions that tend to plague babies all around. Breastfeeding helps to also reduce those risks. So there are multiple benefits, and I can go on and on. But I think for now, those are the few from the top of my head. I don't know if Mrs. Richards have any that she would like to add.
Well, the benefits I think about are basically like economical and so forth, because when you breastfeed, you do not have to, well, it's free. You don't have to worry about sanitization for the most part. You don't have to worry about water quality. You don't have to worry about if no power there or no gas there. You don't have to buy the pan food. Pan food sometimes can run, somebody was telling me $50, $60. Wow. When you're breastfeeding, it's nature's liquid gold, and it's
Liquid
free.
gold.
Okay, well, you have highlighted the benefits, and I'm glad that you're dealing with it both to the parent, as the mother, and to the child. One other question that I would like, and I would like to ask that of you, Mrs. Richards, as the PRO of the health department. This effort to speak to mothers and I hope fathers as well about breastfeeding, is this a part of a larger PR engagement with the people with respect to public health and the health issue?
Well, at the ministry, we are actively, we were here with yourself, maybe 2 weeks back?
Yeah, about that.
We are actively going out and trying to educate the public on all matters concerning health. We do believe that information empowers people. We do recognize that persons should have the information needed to take care of themselves and their families. As far as breastfeeding, of course, this falls under that. But even on a broader note, the World Health Organization, PAHO, all these other organizations have come to the conclusion in recent years that breast is best. And there is actually global consensus on that. The JNF Hospital actually was awarded a baby-friendly, they got us a certification for being baby-friendly And this is something that's globally being done. There's a massive return to advocating for breastfeeding and showing that it's normal and that it is best, because globally you have issues like cancers, the NCDs and so forth that are plaguing a lot of developed countries. And a lot of research has shown, as Mrs. Duncan, that babies who are exclusively breastfed avoid these complications later in life. So on a global scale, there is a big push to get women to go back to breastfeeding.
Well, any of you could answer this question. But because you see, I like to research things. If I'm going to speak to people about it, I want to be as nearly as informed as the experts are. And in researching this, I've come across two situations that can affect mothers, not in terms of making them sick. Well, how should I put it? There's a mental challenge to some mothers about breastfeedings, and one of the reasons that they give for that is in terms of getting saggy breast and things like that. No, I mean, it's not me, it's the researchers. And the other one is painful breasts.
Okay, I'll answer those. As it relates to the saggy breast, breastfeeding is not responsible for the saggy breast. What is responsible for the saggy breast is hormones due to pregnancy. For example, that is one of the reasons that could be the responsibility of the saggy breast. As you age, that also happens. So that is expected whether or not you breastfeed. Additionally, certain conditions, for example, women who smoke, that also causes saggy breast. So breastfeeding is not responsible for saggy breast. The functional part of the breast that is responsible for breastfeeding, it have nothing to do with whether the breast is saggy or the breast is perky. It doesn't even have anything to do with the size. So regardless of the size of the breast, whether it is saggy or it is standing firm, breastfeeding does not necessarily affect it. They are connected to a certain extent, but breastfeeding is not responsible for the saggy breast. And I forget what your second question, painful. Now, once you know the proper techniques for breastfeeding, it won't be painful. So what happens usually with the latching techniques, how baby latch on the breast, persons usually assume that the baby is holding on to the nipple. However, the baby is not holding on to the nipple. The baby is supposed to be latching on to the dark spot that's around the breast, that is known as the areola. So once the baby latch is done correctly and it's on the areola and it's not on the nipple, then it will not be painful. So if it is painful, it means that individual, the baby, is attached incorrectly. And so that is not breastfeeding, that is attempting to breastfeed. So being painful with breastfeeding, no. Sometimes some mothers, especially just after delivery, because initially I did say one of the benefits of breastfeeding is helping mothers to expel the products of conception, of when the placenta and other things that might have been left up there from the pregnancy. So we usually initiate breastfeeding directly after delivery, and sometimes when the baby is put to the breast during that period, they might feel a little pain or discomfort in their belly as their body works to expel those products. So sometimes you might feel that, but
like
pain,
cramping?
but pain related to breastfeeding, once the baby is attached correctly and the baby is not suckling on the nipple, but attached to the areola like it is supposed to, they will not have any pain.
There's just one other question, because you know that we live in a world today where everybody goes onto the internet. And it would be foolhardy if we pretend that it doesn't exist. And on the internet, they're promoting a second best of pumping and storing. What do you think about that?
Well, it's not a second best, I would say.
Complements
You know, it's
it.
an option to complement breastfeeding. Because the thing is, it's breast milk. regardless of how you want to put it, is breast milk. So, for example, here in St. Kitts and Nevis and some other countries, we have our breastfeeding mothers get maternity leave at 91 days. Okay? It is encouraged, recommended that persons exclusively breastfeed for 6 months, which is about half the period to which we get maternity leave for. So now, when mothers go out to work, they have to find a way in order to ensure that the babies have breast milk. So pumping, expression, which you can do manually or you can do with one of the electronic pumps, is one of the recommended ways in which you can get enough milk for the baby to be able to have milk while the mommy is out working. And even when mummies are not out working, you find once you have a baby who is suckling a lot, because breastfeeding is usually on a sort of supply to demand. So the more the baby suck, the more milk the mommy have. So you'll find that you'll have the mother breast getting filled up rather quickly, so they would be able to express that milk and store it. So I wouldn't say it's a second best. It complements breastfeeding.
Okay, well, I mean, I want you to tell us what it does. So, in other words, you're saying expressively and definitely the mother's milk is the best.
Definitely.
And if for whatever reason you can manually do the breastfeeding of holding the child up to the breast, then you can complement that by I say pumping because extracting.
Pumping, yeah.
That's what we call it.
With a pumping, we call it expression, but pumping they would understand.
Yes. And storing and have that milk available.
And you do both. Like one of the easiest ways I found to pump breast milk was while the baby was on the other breast. And then I would be able to full up from the other one. Of course, when she got older, she started kicking away the breast pump. But yeah, it's good to store. It's really, it's very complementary to the breastfeeding, and it allows you a sense of freedom, as she says. And when you go back out to work, you can rest assured that your child is still getting all of the benefits. And I think all the schools, the what they call them, crèche, we say locally, they are trained in knowing how to handle breast milk, and breast milk is not difficult to handle. Like Miss Duncan often, in the daycares, yeah. Miss Duncan does a fantastic job at explaining even how it stays. I think you were saying, go at room temperature for 4 hours.
For 4 hours,
it comes back out of the freezer. It melts down quickly and easily. It's very versatile. In some cases, if you have a good freezer, you can store breast milk up to a year. And it's sophisticated. Now you have all these breast pumps, handheld, cups, this, that.
You have warmers. Yeah. You put them in for a few seconds, maybe a minute or more in the breast bag, and the milk is ready to go.
The breast bags come with a little section. You get your little marker, your pen, and you date it, put it in the freezer, and yeah,
so
it's about
it's moving with time too. However, Mrs. Richards did mention about the hospital being baby friendly. So that is a global recognition to have a baby friendly hospital. I think St. Kitts and Nevis, I mean, if I'm not correct, I stand corrected. But I think we are one of the first, I think, in the Eastern Caribbean to have a baby friendly hospital, and so that certification is done every 5 years. So we are actually about heading there to being recertified. So part of this is promoting and building awareness to breastfeeding. So for example, we also do the expression at the hospital, but we do not feed with bottles and nipples, etc. The babies are fed either from a cup, the milk from a cup, or a spoon. So we don't encourage the use of nipples. So we literally, babies within the first day when they are born, they use some cups look similar to medication cup. And you'll see babies literally drinking the milk from the cup. So all that is express breast milk. So sometimes you might have challenges where maybe the mommy is still sick and available to breastfeed, and so the nurses will express, whether they would do it manually with their hand, a pump, express the milk from the mother, and then feed the baby.
All right. Now, again, I have to go back to when I was a boy. I don't know if I remember the breastfeeding aspect of it. But at some point when you get to 1-2 years, formula becomes a part of food, mashed food. I'm just saying, becomes a part of the baby's diet, and so I'm just trying to find here up to what time would you say stay away from formula or even the mashed food? And
Well, breast milk, exclusive breastfeeding, that is up to 6 months. And that's all breast milk, nothing but breast milk, not even water. No water, no vitamins, just breast milk, up to 6 months. Then after 6 months, you implement what is known as complementary feeding. And so that is where the mashed foods would come in, the porridges, for example, or the cereals, or even if you wanted to use the milk from the formula, where you can also use breast milk to either make your porridges or to use to mash the food items. So that is where they come in, not before 6 months. 6 months is up to 6 months is breast milk only, exclusive breastfeeding. After 6 months, that's when you can implement these foods.
what percentage of mothers in St. Kitts and Nevis would you say are following that rule?
Currently, I can tell you we are a little stagnant with the numbers, but in the hospital, for example, those mothers who are, once they're in the hospital, we have about 80% of mothers. And most of the mothers who don't do exclusive breastfeeding in the hospital, they actually is either due to medical reason or some challenges. So it's not where they decide, I literally don't want to breastfeed, even though it's a choice. Let me put that also, it's also a choice, but it's usually sometimes due to challenges, maybe and the mother being ill or sometimes even related to the baby. So you'll find we have at the hospital annually, we have had up to 80%, 95% of mothers who breastfeed exclusively. However, in the community, our numbers dwindle a little bit. We are still a little bit below 50% as relates to the 6 months. However, between 2 to 3 months, 2 months especially, we are seeing more and more mothers actually maintaining breastfeeding up to 4 months, 5 months, but sometimes it might be a little challenging for them. But we do the percent, it used to be much lower. Okay, so even though it's not where we want it to be, it's getting there and it's better. As a matter of fact, we have even implemented in the health centers. I think this is the third year now that we are actually doing it, where we present mothers who breastfeed exclusively with a plaque. And we are finding, initially when we started health centers, some health centers were struggling to find a mother who breastfeed exclusively. Wow. Now we have the health centers, them having more than one. So we are even having challenges with how the health centers are going to select them. When we held the ceremony last year, the permanent secretary of health, because we used to only ask them to select one, asked that we increase it to 2. But like I said, we have one health center now have like 6 mothers who breastfeed exclusively. Some even a little bit more than that. Some of them are actually at 4 months, 5 months. So the numbers are increasing, and this is happening in St. Kitts and Nevis, where we have more and more mothers breastfeeding exclusively. Even if they don't reach the 6 months, you see more of an effort than before.
And I would say, and just a suggestion, that I believe if this is something that you are striving for, that you need to find a way of rewarding all and doing so equally. Because then somebody might just get discouraged. So well, they're going to choose somebody else because of who they are
so what
and
we are
things
doing,
like that.
what we are doing, is something that we have been discussing. So now we are even providing plaques also. I mean certificates, because the plaques are a bit
That's
costly.
what I'm saying. I know
So
that
we
plaques
have
are costly, so if you need to do certificates,
So we actually
gilded-edge
did quite a bit of
certificates or whatever.
certificates this year. We did quite a bit of certificates this year. So yes, but I mean, I don't think we'd mind having some sponsors for that activity.
Well, okay, so then you use your time on air to reach out and it could be a PR campaign specifically, it could be a foot campaign to the businesses. I do agree, and that you have to find different ways of funding it because plaques are extremely expensive. But based on the reasons you have given here this afternoon, both for the parent and the child, why breastfeeding is necessary and important, I believe that we should do more than we are doing as a community. And so how are you reaching out to the community for assistance with promoting the activity?
So what we do as relates to community, through the health promotion unit, we have 2 antenatal workshops annually where we invite pregnant mothers from all over St. Kitts and Nevis. We actually hold these sessions in St. Kitts and then in Nevis on different dates to give persons an opportunity to attend. So we send out the invitations, inviting pregnant women to attend this session. The Ministry of Health provide a venue. We provide snacks, we provide lunch, we provide water, and we provide a forum where we educate and allow these pregnant women to actually share whatever issues they might be having, stories or any concerns they might be having with breastfeeding. So we do that constantly. And even as a matter of fact, as it relates to engaging the general public, tomorrow we are going to be at 4th Street by Flow doing an annual session. And we do this annually. It is known as Stop and Chat. So tomorrow we will be by Flow in St. Kitts, and in Nevis they would be at the square, where we stop individuals randomly and speak about breastfeeding, get their input, provide them with some educations, ask them some questions, assist with any clarifications or myths as relates to breastfeeding. So we have been out there for quite a while. As a matter of fact, we have a breastfeeding committee that have been functioning for almost 4 years. It's comprised of individuals from St. Kitts as well as Nevis. It's only about maybe 6 or 7 of us, but we really have been working to have that push as relates to breastfeeding in St. Kitts and Nevis. At the hospital, we have an individual up there responsible for breastfeeding up there, nurse manager Mrs. Naomi Brombell, and then we have one in Nevis, nurse manager sergeant, and so both these nurses, because Ministry of Health, our presence are not always there in the hospital, so they try to maintain the fort in hospital. And then we have other supporting individuals from the community health centers as well as the health promotion unit, which we all come together to try to plan activities and implement for breastfeeding.
All right, I'm going to ask you my last question. Now the time is running out, and you can answer it, and then you can give your parting word with the general public. And this has to do with, one, bashfulness of women, depending on where they are at a given time, and the child needs to be fed, they would resort to formula rather than exposing their breast in a public space. That's the first thing that I know for a fact happens. I've heard females saying it. Well, this is something I am also aware of since I was a boy. Where men say no to their woman, to their woman taking out their breast in public, even though it is to breastfeed the child. They feel as somebody else is looking at a part of their woman's body that they don't want other persons to be looking at. How do you speak to the public with respect to these two challenges, both the male and the female?
Well, I like to tell people, when I was pregnant and I had my daughter, I read a line it was an app, a learning app about pregnancy and so forth. And it was an aha moment for me. It said that our breasts do not fully mature until we have a child and we breastfeed. And that reinforced the fact that breasts have a purpose. Before the aesthetics, before, all the cultural stuff, their main purpose is to feed and sustain a baby. And I understand that some persons might be shy and so forth, but I would say over modern times they have done a lot. You have these shawls that you can buy, that you can attach and put over the baby. You have persons who can find a corner, find some place where they can feel private. And then you have those mothers who, my baby needs to be fed, the child is pulling at the clothes, I'm just going to feed them. And this all comes back to the support of the community, fathers, men. I've been speaking to the men throughout this time in recognizing that it is a beautiful process. It is a necessary and very important part of life, and that we have to support women. Yes, it's an attractive area of the body, but it serves a purpose. And especially if this child is your child, this is why I keep saying men need to be a part of the process from pregnancy until birth, through infancy and all of that. Because a lot of the things that they get upset about or they feel disconnected from, it's because they're not becoming involved enough in the process. Because if you were around your wife and you paid attention, you were invested, you will see and you will learn the importance of breastfeeding, and then you will learn that it's not a sexual act. I think we need to separate the sexuality from the breastfeeding act. So my thing is just education again, especially for the male side of it, education and learning the importance of it. That's what I would say.
Thank you. And for me, I think that's an individual thing for some women. Some women might be comfortable just pulling out the whole breast and breastfeeding regardless of where they are. Whether they're sitting on a bench or they have some private time in the vehicle. Because the thing is, what we do is known as baby-led feeding, or feeding on demand, where when the baby is hungry, you feed that baby. Okay, so once the baby starts showing the hunger cues, you feed that baby. Another individual, however, might not be that comfortable with just whipping out her breast, so she might find a little more modest way of doing it. Probably have clothing that only shows the area that need to be shown at that time. So just a certain area for the breast might be let out, and then if needs be, they might use another piece of garment to actually cover any other areas that they feel might need to be. But the thing is, that's an individual choice, however they want to be. And we really need to encourage the general public to know that this is something that is natural, it's normal. That is how baby feed. If we are hungry and we are not at home, we walk into a supermarket, a restaurant, or somebody on the side of the road, wherever it's available, and we purchase something to eat. If we're home, we go to our refrigerators, our stove, etc., and we get something to eat. Babies know when they are hungry, that is their source of food. Okay? So the only how to get it is if the mother can take it out and give that baby access. So how much access or how much this anatomy, this part of the body is actually showing, now that is up to the individual. But the main idea to think about it is not to think about a lady exposing her breast or showing her breast, but more so as a woman feeding her baby, giving her baby the nourishment that it needs, because this baby said it's hungry and it's now time to be fed. Compared to whereas they might see that mother and the baby kicking and screaming and everybody watching, wondering. Okay, so that is what persons need to look at it at. This mother who is actually nourishing her baby, giving her baby the best start by breastfeeding this baby.
There was a lady, before we leave, I don't remember which country, but she was such an advocate for breastfeeding that she would go to Parliament. And she used to have, the cloth where they attach the baby to them. And I don't know if it was her another one, but one of them actually breastfed in Parliament.
I think I saw that story.
Yes.
But, I would say, what I would say in closing is, because I love dogs, I have dogs, and our dogs lay down wherever, and they nurse their pups, and some of us assist them in nursing their pups. The cows, the monkeys, the sheep, the goat, whatever animal, they nurse their young, uninhibited, unashamed, and without cover. And I don't think that we are doing our infants any justice if we make it uncomfortable for our mothers who are caring for young children to feel ashamed to breastfeed them. Mm-hmm. And so I want to say to the society as a whole, let's embrace breastfeeding. Let's see it for what it is. And let us stop punishing our children by making the ladies feel shameful for doing such a noble act. If my mother didn't feed me, I can't say where it was, but I know if my mother didn't feed me, I wouldn't have survived. Let our children get the best nourishment that they can get. And if the world says it's breastfeeding, well, it's not just the human world that's saying that now. Mm-hmm. The animals, the non-vocal animals, have been teaching this for the entire lifetime. Mm-hmm. I want you to just say your goodbyes to your so longs to the public, because this is an important subject, and I hope that we'll be able to come back and talk about it again.
And thank you so much for having us. And I'll just like to remind the general public that breastfeeding is a whole society responsibility, meaning it's not just the mother that's breastfeeding, but everyone in society, whether you're the uncle, the aunt, the grandmother, the dad, we should support women again in this, as you said, noble act. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, so like you said, I just want to encourage persons who are out there, persons who are thinking about becoming pregnant, persons who are already pregnant, persons who already delivered, to just stay focused and remember breast is best. Breastfeeding is giving your babies the first start in life, your children, the next generation to come. So you want to focus on what is natural and what is known. So we need to try to normalize breastfeeding again instead of persons more going away from what is supposed to be happening. We want to just encourage you to stay focused. Think about your health, your baby health, the health of your nation, the health overall, and just give them that liquid gold breast milk.
All right, and thank you for being here. And for our issues fans, let us say we'll be back in just a little bit after the advertisements to bring to you persons, or the last gentleman who was, it looks like one person from the Ministry of the Environment, to deal with the second sector ban on plastic.
Reliable, dependable, Delta. If you live here in St. Kitts and your tank on E, there's only one place that you should be. Maybe driving in Nevis and you need some fuel. Go straight to Delta. Don't be a fool. Get your cooking gas fast. All petroleum needs ULSD. Everyone in the region is shouting, Go Delta. Premium gasoline in a fully stocked C-store. So there's only one place you should be. Delta Petroleum, baby.
RIA Easy Money Transfer Limited, located on West Independence Square Street, Bastyr, St. Kitts, and the Solomon Arcade, Nevis, offers you safe and reliable transfers at great low rates and fees to 507,000 locations worldwide, with a pickup time of just 15 minutes after your transfer. And for even more ease of doing business, we home deliver and direct bank deposits in selected countries. So if anytime you want to send money to family, friends, and loved ones, at RIA, we've got you covered with over 30 years of experience moving money quickly, efficiently, and securely across 160 countries. Give us a call at 465-3325 in St. Kitts or 469-3325 in Nevis. Opening hours Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., 8:30 in Nevis, and on Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. RIA Easy Money Transfer Limited.
Back to school shouldn't meet you unprepared. St. Kitts Credit Union's Back to School Loan helps you borrow up to $10,000 with flexible repayment plans, fast approval, supportive terms. Invest in your child's future with confidence, because every child deserves a strong start. Start today at www.skccu.com or call 465-2272. SKCU, invested in their future with you.
Hey, Webmaster here. I stay connected to Freedom with the Freedom SKN app. Simply search for the Freedom app in the Android's Play Store or the Apple's App Store and download it. Enjoy world-class radio at its best, anytime, anywhere. Become a Freedom apper today.
Well, a very pleasant good afternoon and welcome back to Issues St. Kitts Nevis. Is your host, Austin Edinburgh. And today I have with me in studio for the second part of our Issues program today. And if we can, we will get to the lines. Unfortunately, we could not in the first segment. But I think that was quite self-explanatory. So let us welcome again from the Department of the Environment, Mr. Gordon, who is an environmental officer. And the focus today, not the only thing, but the focus today is on the second phase plastic ban from our society. Mr. Gordon, you are no stranger to Freedom.
No, I'm not. Thanks for having me again. On this public awareness campaign as it relates to the single-use plastic ban. And as you said, today we are going to be discussing the initiation, well, actually the conclusion or the passing of the second phase of the single-use plastic ban, which was put into effect on the 31st of July. And for those who are not aware, which I will find unlikely, but we are speaking about the St. Kitts and Nevis, the Federation single-use plastic ban, where the Federation put a ban on some single-use plastic items, including t-shirt shopping plastic bags, which have already passed, and I'm sure persons are quite aware that we no longer use single-use t-shirt plastic bags, and we encourage the use of reusable and eco-friendly bags as alternative. And today we'll focus on the second phase, which targeted food, styrofoam food containers, egg crates, and plastic straws. So as of July the 31st, the sale and distribution, which means no retail, business outlet, restaurant, supermarket, are supposed to have styrofoam food containers, styrofoam egg crates, or plastic straws on their shelves, and they shouldn't be selling. They're not allowed, they're prohibited by regulation and legislation to do so. So that's what we're here to speak about. We want to keep the momentum going because, of course, public awareness and behavioral change depends on repetition and continuity. So that's what we're here to speak about today.
Just want to get a little specific because, our society is a specific, sensitive society.
Yes, definitely.
And you spoke about the styrofoam and you spoke about food containers, etc. And, bowl could be considered. And, the little things that you put the
soup in.
Salad in. The bowls, the bigger. Mm-hmm. But there are some that very much resembles glasses. Mm. There are some that, even though you can call them styrofoam container, when you look at them, they pretty much, with the exception of the material, identical to plastic glass.
Yes, those once, it doesn't matter how they look.
Cool.
It doesn't matter how they look. Once they are styrofoam food containers, it doesn't matter the quality.
Or beverage.
They definitely will be banned. Definitely.
Okay.
So that's what we're here to speak about. And I must say, we have had, I must applaud the public and stakeholders. Like I said, they've been working with us, and most persons have been complying, although we've been having some, and we welcome it because we tell the stores and the business places, listen, it is the customers that you guys hand these things to that call us and let us know that you guys are still practicing these bad habits, or you guys are, let's be real, breaking the law. Today, for the morning, I spent the morning actually visiting some establishment to assess a complaint, to basically verify complaints. And there were some establishment, one or two Chinese restaurant that was still carrying on with the styrofoam plastic sale. They still had them on the shelf, and I had to approach and speak to them about them, give them their first warning. And you can see I had some information printed there, handed them the information, and basically tell them that they'll have to take it down from the shelf within 24 hours, and they complied. And that's the kind of collaboration we're hoping for from everyone. We don't want to necessarily fine someone, because the first fine is $3,000, and we ask persons to adhere, because we tell persons it's been 3 months to adjust to this ban. It's been 3 months, and however, most persons, we can see the alternatives that are out there. I'm sure persons realize now they're getting their food and fast food, etc., in a paper food container, which is very strong, of course. And I think I can say, we can say that I'm complying, and we feel a sense of solidarity so far, excluding the 1 or 2 persons who will be rigid to change. But it's going, I would say persons are dealing with it well and are adhering to it well.
All right. Let me just ask this question, because I know that the encouragement on the T-shirt bags was, well, if the establishment is going to provide bags, there must be reusable bags. And the encouragement was for consumers to bring their own bag.
Yeah.
Food. I know, and I would say this because I've seen some of the paper ones, and reality is reality. They are not as durable as styrofoam. And I will tell you from my own experience, if you don't use them quickly, they would transfer taste to the food. So my question is this: have there been an encouragement for persons to take their own reusable containers when they're shopping for food?
Definitely persons. I mean, this is something that I'm I have a little age on me. So I've seen stuff like this in my young days. It's something that persons did before. And I'm sure if persons are able to take their container for the benefit of the environment and environment conservation and to reduce waste, of course, I'm sure that it would, is welcome and would be welcome by businesses, especially the mom and shop, the food vendors, of course. And so we encourage anything that is acceptable, because what we let me say this, there's no law against it, but of course it will have to be something that is allowed by the business. All right, but there's no harm in it. In fact, this is an example, like you say, that is being used overseas, especially in the Asian areas, part of the world. You see people walk with their own utensils, definitely. And I think this conversation came at one time, and persons were like, persons going to walk with a big bowl, etc., to get more food. But no, it's a share. You know, it's a portion. It doesn't matter how big your bowl is. It is a portion. So, yes, we do encourage to walk with your own utensils if you can, and if it's allowed, definitely.
Now, the reason why I say that, is, and you said you saw some of it. When I was a boy, that was the only thing there was.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're going to on a Friday afternoon to buy sauce or stew or whatever it is, definitely, you had to take your own utensils, or you'll get it in your hand.
Definitely.
And your hand, it was either too hot for your hand, or your hand could not hold the shape. And so, maybe that's why it came to me, because I know that when I was a boy, that's the way it was done. And I have used the paper ones, and if you do not use it quickly, because it's going to.
Yeah, but to speak to that, there are different qualities.
Okay.
There are different qualities. There are those with the lining that you definitely won't have the taste. You definitely won't have the taste. In fact, I'm going to be visiting a radio station tomorrow morning, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I visited that radio station over 10 days ago. And when I visited that radio station in the morning, while I was doing some tea in the morning, some warm water was left over, and I tossed it into one of the alternative soup containers, and I took it with me as an example. And that container still has the water in it today. So I'm going to walk with that container tomorrow to show persons the durability. Of course, you said that sometimes it tastes, and that is where the earnest falls on the retailer. All right, because of course it's business, and supposed to be like, let me try this cheap, and then what will the consumer do? They will complain and say, hey, this quality, this type of, I'm tasting, some of the taste is leaching into the food.
Whether we like it or not, it's actually dye.
It's dye, and they will do some. Definitely, they'll do something about that. They'll bring in a better quality food container, because this is actually the process that that we have learned while assessing and speaking to other countries. These are some of the things they also face, because it's business. A business person is going to try to save as much money until they are forced by customers to produce quality products. So this is just a phase that we're going to go through. I'm certain that by December, nobody is talking about buying food in a paper container where dye or the taste is leaching, or that establishment who's doing it will probably have less customers, while the others who upgrade it to a better quality is doing better than them. So that is what I have to say towards that.
All right. Now, we are, heading into just 2 months. We are 1 month since we're not even 1 month. It's the 31st of July.
Yes. Definitely.
So we are
7 months into the plastic ban, if that's what
Yeah. No. I was referring to this ban.
Oh.
So it is. We are just heading into a month, 1 week or so since it was implemented.
Definitely.
But you did mention this morning that you had to go and observe and warn. So are most of the establishments complying with the ban, and what difficulty, if anything, in terms of the establishment or even customers, is the department getting any feedback with respect to difficulties?
Yes, most persons are complying. I must say we had a rigid public awareness and stakeholder campaign going forward. I don't think any stakeholder persons would a stakeholder as it relates commercially would say they were not aware of any the stakeholder meetings we would have had. And so most persons are aware. In the month of June, where we had a department month of activities, we actually had a drive-through the community where we visited businesses around the island. There were businesses around the island. We stopped in almost every single village, and we enter these stakeholder businesses, retailers, and we were making sure that they comply with the single-use plus the ban on the grocery bag.
The T-shirt.
T-shirt bag, yes. However, we also spoke to them about being prepared for the second phase, and most of them, I can't remember one person that said they were not aware. In fact, the message was, yes, I'm not going to let the second phase catch me off guard like the first. So most persons that we know of are complying. Like I said, it's 1-2 complaints. For I would say for the last 2 months, it's probably maybe 5 complaints we had concerning persons who were not complying. So stakeholder-wise, persons are complying. Difficulties, I would say that what we find is that as a business person, a business-minded person, I think a lot of the businesses tend to take a chance if they realize the deadline, because they would have had a stock that they would have basically secured to last for the ban period. And if that stock of banned item wasn't finished, a lot of them are tempted to take the chance to still sell even after the ban. And I think some difficulties persons would have said is that sometimes when they may visit the retailers are persons who are supplying these alternatives, it's sometimes they don't have them, etc. So we've spoken to these businesses, retailers, wholesalers, and even though we know it's just natural business when demand increase, also supply will increase, but we ask them if they can try to basically increase their stock so that persons, because there's going to be a large demand of persons who will be asking for these products. So we ask if they can have it readily available. But I think that you would think that most businesses will leap at the opportunity for something like this, and I think they have. So those are some of the problems that we might have faced. Persons might have said that the supply is limited, and that will happen. It will eventually increase over time. So, but as it relates to compliance, I would say 90% of people are complying, and businesses are complying with the ban.
Okay, well, anything, and I think I said that the last time we were here when we were coming to reviewing the T-shirt bag and how things were progressing. It takes the buy-in of people,
definitely,
to maximize success.
Yep.
And so my thing is, now again, it's early yet, so there may be complaints that will come, but I will still ask, does the department have mechanism in place if there are perceived or real challenges that both consumers and retailers are facing with respect to that? That's number one. Does the department has anything in place in terms of that they could fall back on and speak to the public and businesses? And two, would the department consider, or after discussion, of course, consultation with the businesses, encouraging persons, as they were encouraged to walk with their own shopping bags, to bring their own utensils, because it would cut down further on the disposal of waste if it is their own utensils. If it is not, they may still find it necessary to dispose it, especially since they're going to say it's now biodegradable.
Definitely. I wouldn't call it a contingency plan, because I want the general public, I want the public to know that there is no going back on this ban. There is definitely no going back on this ban. We are in a crisis. This is a call to action, and there is no going back. What we definitely always do is to keep the stakeholders, keep in constant conversation with the stakeholders, and the stakeholders will let us know if they have any problem. Definitely. One of the problems that we would see, we would have anticipated, is basically finding a supplier for these alternatives, and finding a supplier hasn't been difficult for the stakeholders, definitely. So we're in constant conversation with the stakeholders, and we haven't found a problem, we haven't received a challenge that the stakeholders are currently facing that can impact the effectiveness of the ban. So to speak to that, and as it relates to biodegradable, we at the department definitely we promote reusable items, we promote compostable items, and there are some requirements as it relates to biodegradable, and that falls to the standard. All right, so if persons say, hey, this product that we brought in is biodegradable, there are several standards that should be met, definitely. However, as it relates to biodegradable, we encourage reusable, because this is the thing, biodegradable, there's something called greenwashing, where persons just stamp biodegradable on any product, and they still biodegradable, it still impacts the environment, because there's still some harmful products, elements within some of these biodegradables. So that doesn't necessarily mean that it is good for the environment. So that is why standards were put in place to basically regulate this. However, if you are to ask anybody, persons, we at the department encourage reusable, eco-friendly, compostable items. And I don't know if it's live, that is why I brought one of the issues, or one of the talking points were plastic straws. Because plastic straws are banned, and persons are saying the plastic straws alternatives are not very useful. Now this product, you can have a look at that, is actually sold at Best Buy right below our office. And you can see it's compostable, it's plant-based, and if you were to take one out, you can fool or tell anybody and they will use that straw. You will think that it's plastic. You can squeeze it and then you'll think that it's plastic. So like I tell persons that the alternatives are there, it's just that we are venturing into a new era, and it will take some time for everything to just basically run, to revert back to a normal daily lives as it relates to the products that we're using. We have to implement it into our daily lives, basically.
Well, forgive me. If I see what can be a possible challenge, I'm not challenging you, but I think it's worth bringing it to your attention. because, and I went to that when I said, during the ban of the T-shirt plastic bag, reusable bags were the focus. Not biodegradable, not even paper bags, which can be reused, but if it gets wet, it's gone. Now, that is one of the issues that you find with food containers. If it is going to be reusable, if there's a focus on reusable, I believe that it would require persons to use their own containers. It's just here at the top of my head, because if not, it is going to be something that is going to be disposed of. And how are we going to dispose of it is one question. And two, if it is made in a manner that it is to be disposed of, then it won't be very durable. I know that it just appears a little bit more difficult to me because it is utensils that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering how we're going to bridge that little gap there.
Definitely. This morning while visiting, the conversation about biodegradable, let me say this. The department and the ministry, we, like I say, reusable bags, that is what we promote. Now, the reason why I speak to biodegradable products and saying that if persons, as related to biodegradable bags, definitely we are not plastic bags. We are definitely not looking at biodegradable plastic bags. Definitely not, because they are not. They may be biodegradable, but they're still harmful to the environment. But like I said, they are biodegradable. Of course, there are biodegradable products out there that can be acceptable. They are definitely, as I say, biodegradable. They're not harmful, but there are different qualities of biodegradable. Let me try to explain. Some persons are not aware that if a product is not made from 100% plastic or polymer, they may make it from maybe 40% plant-based or something none. They are able to call that biodegradable, but it still contain harmful products in it. All right, so that is the reason why we stepped away from biodegradable first when it was implemented, of course. And the reason why I say that is because persons today, they might have had biodegradable products on their shelf right now, and I was asked a question if they're going to if you must sell the biodegradable, and I told the person this morning, no, they're gonna have to cash that in as a loss and basically use it's easier, and I would encourage them to use the reusable products, because, and I told them, if the standard, the custom has the standard, if that product, if you label something biodegradable and it passes through customs, if it passes through customs, that's the first frontier, and enters into the country, then I will have to speak to someone higher up. If you're telling me after July the 31st that you were able to bring that into the country, past customs, I'll have to speak to someone higher up to deal with a situation like that. However, we don't promote that. And to speak to working with utensils, I told you, definitely, we encourage that. However, the reason why I say that, you may have a fancy bowl that you say, hey, this is the bowl I'm going to work with for lunch, work with it in an establishment, etc., and it's pleasant. It may not be disruptive to the business. It may not cause less persons affect customers. But if that is the situation, it is up to the business person to say, hey, I understand, but we are going to provide you with the reusable, because I don't know if maybe some persons may feel like it's tacky, they may feel like it's beyond the time, but it falls into the the hands of the business owner. But we encourage that definitely. I can see myself walking with my plastic container. I can see persons walking with the plastic containers because I am that conscious about the environment. All right, so definitely I support that. So if you got your big bowl home and you want to walk with it, that's what you're pushing, definitely.
It would take a collaboration, but I just thought I should raise it because I think that serving reusable products would be, I'm talking about in terms of the businesses, would be a bit more challenging when it comes to utensils. And so I just thought I would raise it.
Yes, and let me, this is something I promised that I would say. And I want to, because you use the word biodegradable, and I want persons out there in Radio Land to replace the word biodegradable with compostable. Compostable. So please try to do not bring in, say, biodegradable containers, all right? Compostable containers. Compostable meaning that it is able to break down under natural circumstances, under any natural condition. It doesn't have to be a regulated condition. All right? So compostable, replace the word biodegradable with compostable. When you guys are looking for anything other than reusable, compostable. That is what I want to say. And I don't want to stray away from the plastic, the topic, plastic ban. But however, there are certain other initiatives that I have to speak about and certain things that are going on.
CCAP, I was coming to that. So
yes, definitely. So
delve into it.
Yeah, the CCAF definitely. It would be remiss of us to not mention it. And like I said before, that the government, before implementing this ban, we did our due diligence, and we knew that there were going to be some challenges as it relates to individual and stakeholders. So we were active and put in place certain initiatives that throughout the journey to sustainability, a sustainable island state agenda, we are able to help persons by either easing the financial strain or basically helping them to transition to eco-friendly practices. And one of the things is CCAF. You guys probably had someone here speaking about it. Is the Community Climate Adaptation Facility Fund. So this initiative is open right now. You guys can visit the Department of Environment, and you will see the ad there with the Global Center Climate Mobility. And the Ministry of Education is in collaboration to put this initiative forward. And it's basically an initiative where it's a launch of Community Climate Action Facility Fund invites applicants from eligible groups to address climate adaptation project for climate resistance. The CCAF aims to empower community to address climate impact by providing funding support for local initiatives. So any community group or persons who basically have an idea and it relates to sustainability, they can apply. Of course, you have a proposal, etc., and you are eligible to, are likely to be granted a grant of up to $10,000. So we are helping persons to establish sustainability within the island. As you know, one of the pillars of our sustainability is sustainable communities. And the CCAF helps persons who may be facing, who may be challenged with financial limitations to put the sustainable and eco-friendly initiative into place. So persons who have any ideas, and you guys can probably tailor it around sustainability. Maybe if you have a business idea and your business plan to use all eco-friendly products, etc., this may be an opportunity for persons. We are talking about grassroots groups, informal community groups, networks and cooperatives, community-based organization, and non-government NGOs. So the fund is available. Visit the Minister Joya Clark's website, Facebook page. Visit the Department of Environment Facebook page, and you guys can call the Department of Environment also to get some information on that project. The CCAF funding is available for persons who are interested right now.
But this you only have until the 15th of August to make
Yes, it's been
applications?
available. It's only up until I think the 15th of August, if I'm not mistaken. So persons definitely be aware of that and get your applications in quickly. So the deadline is 15th of August and 4 p.m. If you guys, when you guys visit the our Department of Environment Facebook page and the Minister's Facebook page, you guys will have all the information there. There's a QR code to scan, and there's the website URL there that you guys can also use. So we ask persons to take advantage of this, and I think you guys also can call the Department of Constituency Empowerment to have to get some more detailed information on this project or initiative.
But this isn't it also for non-profit?
Definitely non-profit. So we have informal community groups, so non-profit, and we have cooperatives. So definitely, it's also the non-profit also falls under the eligibility.
So, well, I'm just going to ask this question: if maybe 5-6 neighbors in a community think of something,
Definitely.
they can put it together and it falls under the non-formal community group.
Yes, definitely. It
informal.
fall under the informal community groups. You know, networks are cooperative because once persons come together, say farmers come together, and they say, hey, we have an idea to implement smart farming where we plan to use technology to help us regulate, say, soil acidity, acidic, I can't say the word, acidity.
Acidity?
Yeah. To regulate chemical using fertilizers. Those are sustainable initiatives that definitely can be supported by this.
Yeah, and I heard, well, the only thing I would have thought about then too, I heard that this morning as well, and so I'll put it to you. 5-6 people coming together along a street and saying, we want gutters, we want tanks, so that we can, when it rains, we can have a source of water that would be directed to, if not the entire household, to a portion of the household.
And that falls under one of the 7 pillars of sustainability, which is water security. All right, so definitely that also falls under. So those are different, I hope persons are listening, those are definitely great ideas to advance communities and to help us reach to a sustainable community state, basically. So persons out there, you have an idea, make sure that it has sustainable base, and this is definitely a project that you guys can take advantage of. So please, I want to hear the next time we are speaking about the CCAF. Persons at the office are saying, Lord of mercy, so much people applied. So
well, my ideal project would have been one that I think would be out cost in terms of the costing that they give up to $10,000 US, you said, per project.
Yeah.
Because what I would have thought about, it might take more than that in terms of solar panels, is for a community to get some solar panels and connections and attach that to a number of homes to create their own electricity.
Yeah.
Those are the two things that I thought about, but I'm saying that I don't know the cost of panels that may not be possible within the limit.
Yeah, I mean, it's starting small, It's starting small. This can be the pilot. I mean, the solar panel project can be the pilot project that, we're going to start small, and this is the example that it can be done. And once it's there, we can influence persons directly to move forward with it. So don't be discouraged because the fund may not be large enough so that it can basically fulfill or cover our entire community. But we are looking at starting. We're looking at a spark that can be turned into a flame of sustainability in the future. So even though it may not be able to generate say, six by 6 solar panel, but it can generate 4, and persons are able to see that, hey, personally, the idea of energy conservation and sustainable energy is within the community. That is something that definitely will be a plus. So,
those are the two things that I thought about, once I heard of it. But it's only until the 15th. Well, people only have until up to 4 p.m. on the 15th.
Yes, that is several days away, so definitely.
Maybe about 8 days,
Yeah.
somewhere around there. Now, one of the difficulty that I have, though, is because you know those funds, the administrators of those funds, they're going to require some technical language in the that they would have to be able to follow. You can't just. Can you just put an idea without having the technical language?
Yes, definitely. I don't think technical. One thing I've realized, and I think even I listened to the minister. Oh my God, I forgot what, but she was speaking to. I forgot the entity, but she was speaking and presenting some of the problems that are small developing island states like ourselves, St. Kitts, may face as it relates to accessibility to fund. And I think one of the messages was to get away from the technical language and the jargons. If we want persons directly to get on board with sustainability, remember, majority of the persons that we're speaking to are stakeholders. They are not technical persons, they're normal persons. So we have to get away from the technical language and cater to these persons and even make it a little simpler for these funds to be accessible and to make people more comfortable to access this one. Because like you say, a lot of times persons may hear me right now and they may be like, I don't want to go through the stress of having to deal with the technical aspect of a project like this. But I assure you that it is not so, and it is something that's relatively easy. It's if you can apply for a job, if you can apply for a passport in St. Kitts, this is something that definitely will benefit you. It's not something that will stress you or take time out. It's actually an opportunity that I think persons should take advantage of.
Now, given that there are limits in terms of of the amount of money that would be afforded to each project that is forwarded, doesn't it mean, therefore, that a budget is required with the... And I'm not saying this to get anybody scared. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying this so that persons, if a budget is required, do not send in an application without a budget and get turned down.
Definitely a budget we definitely should and will be useful. I also would advise persons to include a budget the way that the money will be spent. And but normally things like budget tend to scare persons. But I normally tell persons, if you are running a home, you already have the ability to budget. If you are running a home, you have the ability to budget. So that's not something that should scare you and the persons. If you think that that part of the journey is difficult for you, I'm sure there are persons out there. That's why you can also apply as a group. 5 persons, they're definitely, 5 persons, there's some sort of resourcefulness within that 5 person that can get someone to help them with a budget. And I don't want to even sound, I don't even want to come off like this, but there's even something called ChatGPT. If you have a general idea, that's what I'm telling. Because persons, if you have a general idea of what you want, I'm not telling you have a general idea of what you want, you have to put the skeleton in people.
Well, when you're pressed for time,
yes,
you have to
put
ChatGPT.
You have to put the skeleton in, definitely. So it's assisting, not doing it for you. That's what I'm speaking as it relates to ChatGPT. But I'm just trying to find ways to not have persons being discouraged from taking advantage of this opportunity. And before I am corralled by some of my co-workers, I would like to speak to some of the initiatives that the department, Solid Waste, and the Taiwan Technical Mission has in place. Right now, we are doing some visitation to camps, to the camps that are summer camps, and advancing the message of recycling and the plastic ban and anything that relates to environment conservation. That is an initiative that's going on right now. You think yesterday we were at Ice Team Camp. We visit immersive creation, I think, camp. So those are some of the public awareness activities that we have going on. Also speaking to the Taiwanese Technical Mission and Recycling Project, we are, I would say, we are setting up, there's a recycling competition that is organized by the Taiwan Technical Mission and in collaboration with the department, Solid Waste, and some other stakeholders. Schools are going to be involved. All the schools are going to be involved, primary schools, high schools, where we ask persons to partake in a competition to see which school basically recycle the most plastic waste. And the aim is to, of course, reduce plastic pollution within the school, but also to promote the idea of environment conservation and good environment practices within the younger generation and the school children. Of course, we know those are the persons who are going to inherit our St. Kitts. So we want to make sure that these persons like culture. Living sustainability should be a part of their culture. It should be as easy as looking forward to Carnival or looking forward to Culturama. They should also look forward to preserving the environment as it relates to sustainability and where we want to be by 2040. Also, last but not least, I must also speak to you know what, it slipped my mind, you know. It slipped my mind. Yes, but those are some of the initiatives that we have going forward, and we hope that the schools and all the schools, primary schools, high schools, and the camps, we ask that those persons who visit the Let's Recycle Facebook page, and you will see all the information that is needed on their Facebook page for the recycling competition. And we have done our due diligence in sending out correspondence letters and the infographics with all the information for the competition. So we think persons are definitely on board. Not only that, we have also extended the window for application up until September the 5th.
For which one?
For the recycling competition. This is something that we want to be huge, because The recycling program has been very successful in St. Kitts and Nevis. It's been going on for about 4 years, and it's in the process of being expanded to capture also cardboard waste. So, like I said, this is something that we want everyone to be very comfortable with, and just like taking out your garbage, let's say every Monday, Tuesday, Friday, whenever the garbage are coming, we want persons to incorporate sorting and recycling products that are able to be recycled in St. Kitts. We want that to be something that we are deeply invested in going forward.
And you use the word invested, and I'm one who believes in entrepreneurship. But there must also be opportunity for entrepreneurship. And what you have now in terms of the recycling, I think it is done in collaboration with the Taiwanese mission.
Taiwanese Technical Mission, yep.
Now, what is the possibility of recycling becoming a business for a family, for an individual, that yields good return in St. Kitts and Nevis?
Now, recycling, the thing, what we want persons to know, the thing about preserving the environment, the real investment is posterity, longevity, and sustainability. We want the real investment is to have these resources in the future and to be able to live without any, let's say, environmental harm or threat. We want to be able to have the same natural resources we have now, that the generations after us are able to have the same natural resources. Then that is the real aim of environment conservation, not destroying where we live, and in the same breath destroy ourselves. The reason why I said that is because we have had a lot of conversation about persons thinking that St. Kitts we're giving away the opportunity as the government is making money from recycling while they're giving the products or the recycling products free. If there is to be a profitable business in recycling, it will take the entire region. It will take the entire Caribbean region to collaborate together, come together in harmony, and establish a comprehensive framework where all the recyclables are collected and they are basically, let me say, shipped. They act as one shipment. St. Kitts doesn't produce enough recyclable waste for it to be profitable. That's why these initiatives basically are, I wouldn't say they are not profitable. You can look at them as non-profit projects, but it is an investment for a later return. We are not going to see monetary return definitely right now. So for a family in St. Kitts to turn recycling into a business where they want to make profit, I think that is going to be something that's very hard to do. So this is where we look at environmental conservation as a merit. Definitely.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I've done my own research. That is something, and it was not just about plastic. That is something I thought about, and at that time I thought about metal. And I did my own research and found out that we don't produce enough in St. Kitts for me to make a profitable business out of it. And not even if you include Nevis and Statia. That's what they said to me. And that was a good many years ago. So what I want to say, and we are over time. Yes, well, at least we are on time. And so I want to us to begin to wrap up. It's always a pleasure when I speak to persons who are so positively impacting the environment and encouraging it among others. We started out with the ban, the second phase ban that is coming in, that has come into place. And we spoke of CCAF, and we also went to recycling, all along the different aspects of the environment, but the environment nonetheless. So I just want to ask you, in closing, and I promise you the next time we come back, I'll turn you over to the public, because I'm sure that some people might have questions for you, but this is, I consider this an information train, because it was important that this information get out to the public. And so I would ask you to synopsize what you have said and make your closing statement.
Thank you. Let me get this out of the way. Another thing initiative I was to speak about, it slipped my mind, was the refrigeration and air conditioning training session that's going to be coming up on the 18th and 20th to 23rd, from the 18th to the 23rd of August. And this is going to be the second part two of refrigeration and air conditioning training. And the first session was done in February. And this training session is put on by the Department of Environment Ozone Unit. And it aims basically to protect ozone, to promote the Montreal Protocol and the United Nations Environment Program rule, and to basically equip the AC technicians around the Federation with the best practices in refrigeration to reduce emission. Also to update them on any changes or any new information that has been advanced, developed as it relates to ozone regulation and prevention, depletion prevention. So the refrigeration and air conditioning training, look out for that, guys. I'm sure there's someone who is listening who would have been a part of the first training. After this training is a 6-day training. Of course, it's rigid, it's information filled, and at the end of this 6-day training, you are granted a certificate. So it's a training that you will be definitely rewarded for. And from the first training session, we would have found out that it was very enlightening and very helpful and informative to the technicians that were there. A lot of information was given out that they were not aware of, and that information prevented them from upholding the best practices as it relates to refrigeration and reducing emissions. So look out for that. That was the other initiative I forgot to mention. And in closing off, I'd like to thank all the stakeholders and the residents of the Federation, because the single-use plastic ban has been going well. Most persons are complying. Most persons see the advantage and the benefit of such an initiative and are willingly complying to the initiative. Also, we want persons to know that the Department of Environment and the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis is here to assist them with any problem or any challenges that they may be facing as it relates to compliance and transitioning to the new era of sustainability. And anything that is within our capacity, we are here to help. And you guys can tell based on some of the projects that are going to be coming out, SICAF being one, that we are definitely proving that we are in this together in solidarity. So we thank the listeners, and we ask persons, definitely SICAF. I already see in one of my friends' message WhatsApp me telling me to send him the link for SICAF, and I'm going to do that. But persons out there, take advantage of this opportunity. Don't let it pass by. I know there are persons who are asking about, I would say David, for Samantha, if you're listening, this is an opportunity for you to take advantage of this opportunity. Definitely.
Well, let me thank you for being here. And I want to thank the listeners at home or in the diaspora, didn't even get to hail you up right at the beginning, but there were one or two challenges, technical challenges that we had to work out before we got the system going. And so I want to say, another week is coming to an end. We're almost at the middle of August.
Yes,
Time is flying. So I want to just thank the listeners. And EK is up next with Island Rhythms. And until I come your way again, this has been Issues St. Kitts Nevis on Freedom FM 106.5. World-class radio at its best.
Reliable, dependable, Delta. If you live here in St. Kitts and your tank on E, there's only one place that you should be. Maybe driving in Nevis and you need some fuel. Go straight to Delta. Don't be a fool. Get your cooking gas.